Yeah, clearly I'm the target audience of this film, so let's review it. Barbie. So Barbie stars Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, directed by Greta Gerwig, and it's based on Barbie. Everything's going fine in Barbie land, and things start to go awry, and that adventure takes her and Ken into our world. She enters the real world, so it's that kind of. I thought the beginning of this movie, like the first half hour, I thought it was interesting, if not visually compelling. It did look like a Barbie world come to life. They have some fun with some of the tropes of the Barbie world, some of the cliches. Barbie Land felt like an episode of Tales from the Trip, but not the scary ones, you know, the fun ones. At first it's a little jarring, but you kind of do fall into it. Now, is Barbie a smash the patriarchy feminist film? Yes, it is. It's worth addressing. It's in the makeup of the film. To its core, to the bone marrow of the film, reviewing Barbie and not even addressing that fact is kind of like reviewing Oppenheimer and not even mentioning the bomb. How is the movie good or bad? Here's the thing. If you do what I do, if you review movies, the dude next to me when the movie got over, he literally looked at me and he goes, "Good luck reviewing that." But I know something he doesn't know. There are ways you can preface, bullet points as it were, things you can say to soften the internet blows. Things like, look, this movie wasn't made for me. Or one that's derivative, look, I'm obviously not the target audience for this. A solid 7% of the time, those work 100% of the time. All that said, how was the movie? I was meh about it. As much as the introduction I thought was nice and clever, I thought, okay, we're gonna get some pop culture movie references wrapped into a Barbie package of sorts. The first 20 minutes or so, I was actually falling into this whole Barbie land acid trip fever dream that I was in. By the end, the movie felt like it had too much going on in it. Maybe it's because it really felt like it wanted to hammer home the message, but the movie just felt too crowded. You know, you have Will Ferrell and his crew of suits. It would have been fine if it was one boardroom scene with them, but they just kind of are dragged along to the end of the movie. You forget about them, then it reminds you they're kind of trailing along. You're like, oh yeah, them. Then you forget about them again, then it'll show them again. Just felt like the movie had reshoots and pickups where they were like, we did not film enough with Will Ferrell. Let's have him in it more. But you already had enough going on in Barbie Land. You didn't need Will Ferrell in it that much. And that's an example I'll use where the movie didn't know where the cartoon ended. Like when you're in Barbie Land, it kind of feels like a cartoon. It feels surreal. Then they get to the real world and it feels like the real world, but Will Ferrell and his crew, when they're chasing after Barbie, they feel like cartoons. I know not in that way of cartoonish CEO in his cartoonish suits created Barbie Land, which is a cartoonish place, so it kind of makes sense. No, it just feels tonally uneven. Margot Robbie was great as Barbie. She's great in that way you know she's gonna be great from the announcement of Margot Robbie being live action Barbie. I think we were all like, that makes sense. She is a live action Barbie. But Ryan Gosling as Ken, he was a standout in here. I was glad this movie got to show his comedic side. We've seen his comedic side before, absolutely. But he was perfect as this well, he was just Ken. Then he was douche Ken, and he makes all of it work. The most I laughed in the movie was specifically when Ryan Gosling was doing stuff. Rest of the time, crickets from me and the rest of the audience. It's fun at times. There's clearly talented direction and art direction behind the camera. Also talent in front of the camera, but the cast is too packed. Some characters feel like props, but you're dealing with dolls, so maybe it's supposed to make sense like that. There was a mother-daughter dynamic in here that worked by the end. But I say by the end because the road to getting there was a bit of a grind, because the daughter was a really broody, grumpy, angry tween for most of the film. But all in all, there were too many irons in the fire, too many characters to care about. I don't necessarily even think alcohol is what you need, but there's definitely something you can take that can aid in the experience.
Yeah, now it's a party.
But this movie does hammer home the point of its message. That message is a man shall have the power to take over the world the moment he stops pathetically simping for that girl he has no shot with. Oh, that's not supposed to be the takeaway. All right, so Barbie, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.